I don't remember where I read this strikingly bad story about uh, a young woman journalist who was raped by her father at 5 years old. The doctor didn't do anything to report the situation, and the constant abuse from her father left her sterile, and she couldn't bear any children. I really don't know if I read this strikingly bad story at Mary Clarie, Ella, Cosmopolitan, Glamour, but definitely not Vogue. I just don't remember which women's magazine I read this very bad story, and it was a long time ago, and I tried to Google it up one day, but I couldn't find the story. It's likely a very old story I read 20 years ago. And I follow Ella, Glamour, and Cosmopolitan at Google Plus, and I just think the women's magazines today are very bad. I mean, the women's magazines, they don't give you any diplomatic articles on abortion articles. You don't get a pro-life and a pro-choice diplomatic view on abortion. You have a lot of politics dictating the women's magazines. These women's magazines are definitely well dictated by pro-choice feminists Gloria Steinem and Planned Parenthood. There is no critical thinking in the women's magazines when it comes to this issue of abortion and birth control. The women's magazines are very bad, and the women's magazines are definitely going gay. Like I see posts from Ella, Cosmopolitan, and Glamour, and they present stories about same-sex relationships, and it's just feminists always accuse the women's magazines of being bad, but today the women's magazines are awful. I mean, LGBT should be an acronym for liberal and progressive sexuality because the women's magazines today, like Glamour, Ella, and Cosmopolitan, they talk about same-sex relationships and they flaunt pictures of, lesbians, you know, getting together and like kissing each other. And the women's magazines aren't, they're not giving any diplomatic they're not giving any diplomatic arguments on abortion. They have their politics well dictated to tell women to be pro-choice and advocate for abortion. And I don't know who works at these women's magazines, but I don't want to talk to anybody who works at Cosmopolitan, Glamour, or Ella. They just have like the yuckiest people like really working there. And women's magazines today are bad. They're awful. They're very, very bad. Women's magazines today are bad.